about somebody that you really love and really admire. So, of course, the person that came up for me, and I'll give my own example because, again, I think it's easy for people then to kind of connect in with. The person that came up for me was Mother Teresa, because I had always, really honored and respected her and her work and what she stood for. So then he said, write down the qualities in her that you really admire. So I did that, I made a list, and she's very caring, she's kind, she's generous, she's self-sacrificing, and there was a great long list. And then he said, the only way that you can see those qualities in that person is if those qualities are in you. So that was, really nice. Then he said, now look at the opposite. What is the opposite of those qualities that I'd listed? So I listed caring. So obviously the opposite was, uncaring. She's kind. So the opposite was unkind, and so on till I had the opposites. Mm-hmm. And again, he said, those qualities are in you also. And then he suggested to look at when and why those, let's say, negative qualities show up in me. So started journaling around, okay, when am I unkind and why? When am I uncaring and why? And I'll get back to that part in a minute because that was really interesting. So he had me do that. Then the other thing he had me do was look at somebody that really I could not stand, that I just really, I don't want to say hated, but just was like, oh, I don't want to spend time with that person. So someone came up that, was like, ugh. So again, it was like, make a list of the reasons why you do not want to be around that person. And so it was like, she's selfish, she's very conceited, she, is very loud. There's all these things. So he said, you realize those qualities are in you. They have to be, or you wouldn't see them, and you would be perfectly comfortable being with that person. So then look at the opposites. What are the opposites of those? Which is the flip side of that, which is quiet, so I made my list. And then, what happened is he said, now look at both the seemingly positive and negative and find what is in the middle. Because what happens is, especially with the seemingly negative, with respect to Mother Teresa and me being uncaring and unkind, when I started to journal around when I was uncaring and unkind, I had a huge epiphany, because I realized when I was like cold and uncaring and unkind was when I was trying to protect myself from overextending and being overly generous and being overly kind and caring and compassionate, and essentially not taking care of my needs. And that then led me to see that the reason that was in place and those sort of characteristics or qualities would come up was because at the time I had no boundaries. I didn't know how to say no to anybody. So I would be like trying to stretch myself thin like Mother Teresa, and then I'd have to fall back.